A 12-year-old girl disappears on her way to school. For 80 days she waits in the darkness, while the world searches but in the wrong direction. Belgium, 28th May 1996. 12-year-old Sabine Dardenne was like any other schoolgirl, homework in her backpack, lunch packed, bike ready. The sun had barely risen when she left home. She always cycled the same route. She always arrived on time, always. But this morning, a white van blocked her path. A stranger moved too fast for her to react. The bike fell to the ground, and Sabine disappeared without a sound. Her family immediately knew something was wrong. Posters, phone calls, neighborhood searches. Belgium saw this all too often in the 90s, but few imagined the scale of horror behind these cases. Her abductor wasn't an impulsive criminal. His name was Marc Dutroux, a man with a long and disturbing criminal record. He had been convicted for child kidnapping years earlier. He should have been behind bars, but he was released early for good behavior. This system failure would change Belgium forever. Dutroux had studied Sabine's route. He had the basement prepared. Everything was planned, and now it was too late. Sabine woke up in darkness. A small room hidden beneath a house, cold walls, a mattress full of insects, a metal bucket in the corner. She wasn't just physically trapped, she was isolated from reality. Her abductor told her a terrifying lie. Your parents refused to pay ransom. I saved you from the criminals who want you dead. A child's mind clings to any hope, and if hope comes from the villain, it becomes a weapon. Sabine wrote letters to her parents begging them not to abandon her. Dutroux promised to deliver them, but never did. To break resistance, he controlled everything. When she slept, what she ate, what she could think, and the longer it lasted, the harder it became to remember freedom. But Sabine didn't give up. Every time she was taken upstairs, she scanned the house, a phone too high, mail on the table, a street name, Charleroi, children's clothes in a closet. Other victims? Pieces of a horrifying puzzle she couldn't yet solve. While Sabine counted days in the dark, her family refused to lose hope. Belgium was terrified by a pattern. Young girls disappearing near their homes, no suspects, no answers. Journalists were everywhere. Volunteers searched forests and rivers. But authorities overlooked the most obvious lead. Dutroux, a released predator with resources and properties. The police checked his house once when two other girls were supposedly missing. They did not search the hidden basement. That mistake cost lives. After weeks in captivity, loneliness became Sabine's worst enemy. She spoke to her reflection in a metal pipe. She counted cracks in the wall, thousands of them. She repeated her name and age, afraid to forget who she was. She imagined her parents searching. She wrote stories in her head. She planned escape routes that didn't exist, but she refused to lose her identity. She was not just a prisoner. She was Sabine Dardenne, and she would survive. After almost 2 months, Sabine made a decision out of pure desperation. She begged for a friend, not to help escape, but to stay sane. Her captor agreed, not because he cared, but because this fed his plans. On 9 August 1996, he abducted 14-year-old Laetitia Delhez. This time, witnesses saw something. They saw the van. They saw the man. They called police. When Laetitia woke up, she didn't believe the lies. She told Sabine the truth. He is a criminal. The whole country is looking for us. For the first time, Sabine realized she was not saved. She was stolen. Fear turned into determination. The girls formed a silent pact. If help arrives, They must be ready. For 6 days after the second kidnapping, police moved fast. Interviews, roadblocks, tracking suspicious vehicles. On August 15th, they found him. Marc Dutroux was arrested, but the girls were nowhere in sight. Under pressure, Dutroux made one of the few decent decisions of his life. He led officers to the basement door. Sabine hesitated. She thought the boss had come to kill her. Letitia recognized a police officer and pulled Sabine toward freedom. For the first time in 80 days, Sabine saw daylight. The investigation uncovered a nightmare. Sabine was not the first. 2 8-year-old girls had died earlier in that same basement while Dutroux was temporarily in custody. 2 older teenagers were found buried on his property. They could have been saved, if not for repeated police failures. Belgium demanded answers. 20th October 1996, Brussels. Over 300,000 people dressed in white marched silently through the city. They weren't just mourning victims, they were fun. They were protesting injustice. Ministers resigned. Legal reforms followed. Belgium changed forever, all because one survivor lived to tell the world what really happened. Marc Dutroux repeatedly changed his testimony, trying to confuse investigators and avoid responsibility. He blamed a criminal network, his accomplices, even his own victims, anyone but himself. But the evidence was overwhelming. In June 2004, after one of the most closely followed trials in Belgian history, the court sentenced Dutroux to life in prison. His accomplice and partner, Michelle Martin, received a 30-year sentence. She was controversially released after serving 15 years, placed under strict supervision at a monastery, a decision that sparked outrage across the country. Sabine Dardenne, once a terrified child, is now a woman of remarkable strength. She lives in Brussels, avoids cameras, protects her privacy. In 2004, she published a book not about the criminal, but about how she survived. Her message is simple. They wanted to silence me. I speak because I survived.